Hello and welcome to the Watch Kaki channel where we bring you all the good and honest watch reviews. Welcome back to my studio. It's good to be back again after about 2 weeks. I've been really busy, so welcome once again back to my channel, and today we are going to do a full review of this Seiko chronograph here. This is the SSC801P1 and this watch here is a solar chronograph. It comes from the Macchina Sportiva series, so I believe this watch here was designed or produced in collaboration with Giugiaro, alright, the renowned Italian automotive designer. But having said that, I don't really know what was Giugiaro's involvement in this one. So they have had many different collaborations, but it is not known whether he really designed it or this one was inspired by Giugiaro. So we're not really sure about that. And before we get on to the proper watch review section, let me just take some time here to thank Eric at the Our Boutique. And I really got to thank these people for so generously loaning me the watches here for my watch reviews. And just a bit of background information on the entire SSC801-769 series. So the inscription here, Macchina Sportiva, on the case back, it simply refers to sports car or sports automotive or something like that. So this series here, actually they're not so old. I think these watches, they're like 1.5 years old, the model. And during the launch, they've got the white Panda, the 769, which is really popular, and then there's the 801, which is the blue chrono, alright, and they've got the red version, and they've also got a PVD black version. But the special thing about the entire series would be the dial here. Just take a look at this dial. Alright, they've really nailed this one here. Such a nice honeycomb texture on the dial here. Looks fantastic. Alright, so for a watch that is not so expensive, I think Seiko has done really well in terms of dial execution and design over here. And now we zoomed in the lens a little bit as I speak to you a bit more on the specs of this watch here. It's got a watch case size of 41.5 millimeters. So including the crowns here, or the pushers and all that, it comes to about 44 millimeters. Thickness of the watch here is 12.3 millimeters from the base of the case back, flat laser engraved, to the top of the flat sapphire crystal, 12.3 millimeters. The solar honeycomb here has got a lug width of 20 millimeters. Alright, so rest assured, this is going to be a strap monster. Alright, so having such a racing theme around it, I think a rally strap will look really great, and of course it looks pretty okay on the stock bracelet as well. Lug to lug here is 48.8 millimeters, but have no fear because they've got a really nice curve here on the mid case, and I think this one being a quartz movement, solar quartz, so there really isn't very much protrusion here on the case back, so not an issue despite the rather long lug to lug. Some other information not listed on Seiko's website. So this one here has got a rather big crystal, 34 millimeters, so you sort of get a really clear display and legibility over here. So I think being a chronograph, you also need a slightly bigger dial size, and again, they've done really well with this design here. The 801 here is powered by Seiko's V176 movement, so it is a solar quartz, and this one here has got a 6-month power reserve. So once again, it's one of those grab and go watches when you need one. So you wear it once or twice, you chuck it in the watch case, and then 2 months later on you just wear it. You don't really have to reset the watch. I think grab and go watches are pretty cool in that sense. The entire watch weighs in at about 140 grams, so this one here is without resizing the bracelet. Alright, it's a brand new watch, it's a loan set. I'm not going to do anything about the bracelet here. So I think due to the fact that this one here is a hollow link and hollow end link bracelet, I feel that such things, they really make the watch much lighter and sort of easier to wear. At the time of this review, the Seiko 801-769 series honeycomb chronograph, they typically go for about 250 to 280 Singapore dollars street price. So depending on which vendor you get it from, of course you can find this one from Our Boutique. Just go to Our Boutique, have a nice chat with Eric, smile to him, chat with him, call him bro, pretty sure he'll give you a very good discount. Let's move on and talk about the case design and the overall build quality of the watch here. So I think it's got a really well thought out case design here for this entire series. Alright, you've got really nice curve here on the mid case. Alright, and I especially like the fact that this one here has got a somewhat flat and brush bezel. Okay, so the overall design here has got brush finishing, and we've got really nice chamfers on the edges here on the case, alright, running along the lug to lug, and you've also got a really nice chamfer on the bezel here. Now in terms of lug design here, I think these sort of twisted lugs here or curved inward lugs, they really remind me of another very famous chronograph. Alright, so this one here has made some kind of wave recently on the internet, the long queues and all that. You know, there was a watch that looked very similar to this watch, and I feel that, you know, Seiko must have taken inspiration from the Omega's lugs here. Alright, they sort of go inwards here, and I think it's a pretty nice move actually. So I think when it comes to the case design of the SSC801, it's safe to say that this one here is really well built for the money. The only giveaway signs on this watch will be the crown and its pushers. Right, I think these parts are stock parts and they look pretty cheap to me. Alright, the polishing here you can see is different, right, from the other parts of the watch. So as mentioned earlier in this video, this watch here does not have a solid bracelet. It's got a non-solid end link, non-solid links. Alright, these links here, they're non-solid, and it's also got a stem clasp. Alright, so again, when you're paying for, you know, about 300 Singapore dollars, you don't get solid bracelet and all that. But this watch here does have a sapphire crystal, and I think, you know, you can't complain too much at this price point. It is also interesting to note that this bracelet here comes with a newer system whereby it is not pin and collar, so it is rather like a spring and pin kind of a design, where you've got a special pusher, sort of a tool here. I don't have it with me because this is a loan set, but I've seen in other reviews that they've got a special tool here whereby you just, you know, jam this one in and the links will sort of pop out because it's got a spring load mechanism. So I would say that's pretty cool. I'd like to try it for myself if I do get this watch one day for myself. And now we're going to move on and talk about the dial design of this watch here. Alright, the dial of the Honeycomb SSC801. This dial here, my goodness, beautiful. Alright, so much going on the dial and so many good things happening here on this dial. Alright, first we got to talk about the honeycomb texturing and how it bounces off the light here. Just fantastic. I think this is a winner on its own, just the dial alone. And then we've got the Panda Sub Dials here on 12, 6 and 9. On the white version, the 769, the Panda dials will be more visible, more stand out. But over here, I think it looks pretty good. And it's worth noting that the sub dials here, they're sort of a transparent or translucent. Again, I believe this is because it is a solar quartz movement, so you need sort of a solar panel for it, and it looks really good. Sort of give it a recessed feel to it. The applied indices here also look very nicely applied, very well done. But I'm not really a big fan of the white hands. Not too sure if it would look better with a silver or chrome hands or that kind of design. So I think the white hands sort of cheapens the thing a little bit, but that's just me. The 3 o'clock Seiko logo is going to, you know, draw some criticism and all that. For me, I think it's fine because being a chronograph, you don't always want the logo to be at the 12. It's fine to be at 3, you know, having the sub dial to be 12 and 6. I think no issues at all with the placement of the logo here. So again, you're not going to get things like AR coating with a budget price watch here. But there are really no complaints from me here because I feel that having a flat sapphire crystal, I think on its own it already reduces reflections and glare, so no issues at all here. And now it's time to check out the Loom here on the SSC801. Let me just switch off the lights here and let's see how it goes. So this is how the Loom looks in darker situations. I'm very surprised that there are no Loom plots along the hour markers. We've only got Loom at the 12 o'clock marker as well as the hour minute hands, and frankly, I think this is a bit disappointing. Big Seiko Loom fan. I'm just very surprised that they haven't added more Loom on this watch here. And here's a stage read shot of the watch on my wrist. My wrist is about 17 cm, not the biggest wrist, but you can see that this watch here hugs the wrist really well. It's got really nice curve on the mid case, and the case back doesn't protrude too much. So the overall case size here is slightly on the upper limits of things here. The case size of 41.5 millimeters, I think, just about right for me, just about the biggest that I would go for these days. But wearability here is definitely not an issue, alright? So I'm even liking the cheaper bracelet here because it makes the whole watch wearing experience so much more comfortable, being a lighter watch overall. And we'll also do a size comparison between the SSC801, the Honeycomb Solar, with the original, with the Speedmaster here. Okay, so the Speedmaster is 42 millimeters, but due to the matching bezel, I think it looks bigger than the 41.5. Right? Sometimes the colors can really give the impression that the watch is bigger. All in all, I would say the Seiko SSC801 Honeycomb Solar Quartz Chrono here, I think this must be one of Seiko's hidden gems, right? It's got so much going on for not too much money. Alright, you've got a sapphire crystal, got a really nice design case here in collaboration with Giugiaro, and you know, it's one of those really nice grab and go watches, solar quartz and 100 meters water resistant, so makes a really good daily beater, and sort of you don't have to care so much about it. So I think you might not even need to service this kind of watches. Once they are gone, you probably buy a replacement for it. So for about just under 300 Singapore dollars, you're getting a full load of features, chronograph, solar quartz, you're getting a really nice honeycomb dial here. Like I said before, this dial here, this dial alone, it's really worth the money. Alright, it looks so good here, and definitely a conversation starter. You know, people who like watches, love watches, they are really gonna like this watch as well. So there you have it. That was my full review of the Seiko SSC801, this series known as the Honeycomb Panda series. Great watch for the money. Alright, those of you who haven't tried it or never even heard of it before, take a look at this one here. You might like the watch. Alright, so this is the Watch Kaki. I'm from Singapore. We've got George, we've got Pixie. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.